Guys, I'm a little bit speechless after watching this fight. Man, I didn't get to watch it live, but I watched it just after it aired, not too long after it aired. And I am absolutely blown away by Dakota Ditcheva and her incredible performance. So, if you guys missed it, I made a video a couple days ago, I think, and Dakota Ditcheva was a minus 3,800 going into this fight. So people might say, well, oh, I would have expected more. I know even Justin said, man, you come in at that much of a betting favorite, he expects a finish. Well, I mean, I don't even know how she didn't get this finish. That was one of the most perfect, picture perfect performances that I've ever seen. And there's some other things that Dakota had to deal with during this fight as well, that if she hadn't dealt with it, it was just a freak occurrence, she definitely would have gotten the finish. But man, oh man, you can't, I mean, she tried. She tried. And it was just an absolute clinic. Sumiko Inaba is no slouch either. I mean, she has an 8-1 record. She's gotten some victories in the PFL, so it's not like she was fighting somebody with no fight experience, but it looked like that. It looked like Dakota was multiple levels above, and it was just absolutely incredible. So we're going to go through kind of a quick recap of the fight. And also there was a huge announcement that she made at the end in regards to her future of fighting. And in my video that I made yesterday, I talked about how, man, I feel like it's time that she finally graces the octagon in the UFC. I've been waiting for her to finally transfer over and be signed by the UFC because she'll be such a megastar in the UFC. I've got an update on that. We're going to talk about that at the very end. That's why I have mixed emotions as I make this video, because it was a phenomenal performance, a great fight, in my opinion, but not the news that I wanted, but we'll get to that in a bit. All right, so first of all, let's take a look at the scorecards. Now, if you watch the fight, it was just pure one-way traffic the entire time. Dakota Ditcheva, I said this earlier. They were trying to say this is speed versus power. It was a speed advantage on Dakota's side, in my opinion, as well, or at least it appeared that way with her pinpoint accuracy. I mean, she just could not miss. Now, if we look at the judges' scorecards, 30-27, it looks pretty good score. I think that's way off the mark. One of the judges had a 30-24. That is much closer to the mark. I said I think it should have been at least like a 30-25, but 30-24 makes sense to me. All rounds 10-8. I mean, I don't even know what Sumiko Inaba did whatsoever. I think she landed some body shots on the inside when they were in the clinch, but Dakota was controlling that clinch. You know, she's got that great Muay Thai clinch. And I mean, it's like, I was thinking about this during the fight. It's like every strike that Sumiko Inaba landed, it was like, let's say out of a power score of 10, it was like a 3 or a 4, at most a 5, but let's say around a 3 or a 4. And every shot that Dakota landed was like a 9. It was just like perfect body rotation, just landing flush every time with her hand shots. I mean, she landed some heavy kicks. She got a great roundhouse. I think in the third round, she was throwing some spinning attacks, but it was those teeps. It was those push kicks that were just landing flush on the face, many of them. So it was just this over and over. I saw Sumiko trying to do these little blitz attacks, almost like reminded me of Dricus du Plessis a little bit, but it was like she was punching air the whole time. It was crazy. And I'm not trying to berate Sumiko Inaba by any means. I just think Dakota Ditcheva is on another level, and that's why I want to see her fight in the UFC and fight the best of the best. But either way, she got 30-24, I think makes a lot of sense. The 30-27s, I think, can be thrown out. It's actually feels like a robbery to me to even say 30-27. That's kind of ridiculous. But at least, thank God, nobody gave. You'd have to be blind, literally blind, to give Sumiko Inaba any of those rounds. So just a beautiful, beautiful performance. And for those of you guys who maybe criticizing Dakota somewhat for not getting a finish, I don't really think there's many of you guys out there if you actually watch the fight, but she tried, man. One thing you got to say about Sumiko Inaba is she is a straight zombie. I mean, she is tough as nails. And they said this in the commentating. They said one of the things about being tough is the beating lasts longer. And that's what happened. She just took that. I don't even know. She was barely standing. She was wobbling around in round 3. So massive credit to her. I do not know how she didn't get dropped, how she didn't get finished. That was absolutely crazy. Props to her, but you can't blame Dakota Ditcheva, in my opinion. It was just a picture-perfect performance from my vantage point. Now, if we look at the stats tell the story. I mean, this is why it should have been 30-24. I don't even know. I couldn't find how many strikes Sumiko Inaba landed. I'm guessing it's less than 30, maybe less than, no, maybe it's more than 30, but it's had to be a small fraction of the 152 significant strikes that Dakota Ditcheva landed. But not only is it the amount of strikes landed that's impressive. It was the percentage. I've never seen this high of a percentage in my life. They said it on the broadcast, and I found it as well. 87% strike accuracy rate. That is unheard of. That's almost an A minus. That does not happen. If like maybe in a Hamzat Chimaev fight back in the day where he's just bow, 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 ground and pound, and every shot's landing, maybe that. But when they're literally on the feet the entire time, there's no ground and pound, nobody's on their back, just covering up. I mean, this is unheard of. And man, the strikes, the variety of the strikes, it was just like so many heavy, heavy knees. The way she does that in the Muay Thai clinch, she throws those knees. I don't know how she generates so much power, but it's just like perfect rotation. And I think also the way that her body's designed with her longer limbs, she can just generate a tremendous amount of power. Not to mention she has some great short elbows as well, just your traditional Muay Thai elbows, also the blade, kind of like the front elbow, which was incredible. And as I already mentioned, a nice, beautiful display of well-rounded kicks. She didn't throw, if I'm not mistaken, there weren't really many roundhouses until round 3. And then she threw in some spinning attacks. But part of the reason why she was mixing up, I think, the kick game that much more so in the 3rd round, she had a clear advantage in the boxing range, but she broke her left hand. She broke it early in the 3rd round. And she still finished that fight like a champ and still 10-8'd that 3rd round. Like, who does that? Who can 10-8 a 3rd round with a broken left hand? It's nuts. It was nuts. So anyways, this is incredible. Now, this reminded me of the Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho fight, which was a total mismatch. If you guys remember, Moutinho was a last-minute substitution, and we had 230 significant strikes landed in a 3-round fight, which is insane. But the difference here is the accuracy. So that was one of the craziest striking clinics I've ever seen put on in the UFC, and that was only a 72% significant strike percentage accuracy, whereas Dakota Ditcheva at 87%. That's a massive jump. Another 15%. That's huge. This is the only thing that came to mind. Just total one-way traffic, O'Malley versus Moutinho. And this is supposed to be a different, I mean, they're trying to find somebody evenly matched to fight Dakota Ditcheva, somebody with an 8-1 record. Like, Moutinho was not that guy. Moutinho was clearly being taken to slaughter, and everybody knew O'Malley was going to win. Okay, fine. I guess Dakota Ditcheva, people knew she was going to win too because of the odds, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they took a random fighter at short notice. This was planned out. They're trying to build up the fight and give her good competition, and it's just nothing. Again, just a sign of how amazing Dakota Ditcheva is. All right, now we get to the broken hand that I mentioned. You can see, I didn't pull the clip up, but you can see in round 3, and they even showed the moment in the replay where she looks to her corner early in the 3rd round, and she waves her left hand. She goes, "Me left hand is broken," with the British way that they say it. I can't remember where in the UK she's from, but either way, so she tells them, "Me left hand is broken," but she just still stays doubting. She's still throwing strikes. She still threw some punches with her left hand. I imagine that's just reflex, right? Like, your hand's broken, but you're just getting into the flow and you throw a combo. I mean, I can only imagine. I've never trained with a broken hand. I've trained with like a little bit of a sprained hand, but yeah, you just get in the flow and you're gonna throw what you're gonna throw. It is what it is. But what I liked was the way she started mixing it up once she had the broken hand. She had all these other weapons that she wasn't really using because her striking and what she had done was just, she couldn't miss. It was like she was on cheat mode in a video game. But when she broke the hand, then we got to see a greater variety of strikes. And yeah, I mean, like, anybody if you criticize this performance even one bit, I think you've completely lost your mind. It was absolutely, to me, it was picture perfect. So massive congratulations to Dakota Ditcheva. Now, this is all the good news. This is all the happy stuff. Now we get to the sad stuff, at least for me as a UFC fan. This is me being devastated. I said yesterday, after this win, I'm really, really hoping that the UFC finally gets to her and signs her. She's only 27. She's so young. And she could have such a run, but it is not to be. This is the announcement that she made after. Look how emotional she got. By the way, it's such a bummer that she broke her hand, because I guess she was nursing some injuries, and it took her a while to get back into the cage. And so now she's got an injury again. Who knows how long she'll be out? But maybe it'll be a minor break, or maybe it's even a sprain. We don't know yet. She thinks she broke it. We don't know yet. But you can see the emotions. And like, think about if you like to work out regularly like I do, I'm not a professional athlete, but I get super down when I get an injury. If I can't lift for like a month or something, it sucks. You get depressed. It's terrible. So imagine for a professional athlete, it's got to be 1,000 times worse. And that's the emotion that you're seeing pouring out from her right now. Check this out.
I'm here with a dangerous Dakota Ditcheva. First question I have to ask, how's the left hand? We saw you shaking it out in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, I think I've injured my left arm, but I think I'm just more gutted because I've been out for so long and then I've come back and I'm injured again. But I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. Thank you so much.
This crowd behind you from start to finish, how did that feel, especially in that third round when you were hurting?
Guys, I just want to say that was the best walkout I've ever had, so thank you so much.
Before we get you in the back, I have to know, what does the future hold for you? I know you have to heal up, but when you come back, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great agreement, and I'm going to look forward to the next few years together, so hopefully we can carry on bringing crowds like this because you guys really set a standard, so congratulations, guys.
Dangerous Dakota Ditcheva fans, let her know how you feel.
Look, of course, I'm happy for Dakota, and I think it's great. I'm sure she got an incredible deal. I guarantee you she did. But I'm super disappointed because she said for the next few years. Now, couple means 2, few usually means 3 or more. I don't know. I guess she signed. I don't know how they do it in the PFL. I know the UFC, they sign fight deals. They don't sign year deals. Maybe it's different in the PFL, or maybe it's like a 6-fight deal. So she assumes it'll at least be 3. I don't know. But it sounds like she signed a pretty hefty deal. And I guess she's going to be there for a few years. If we take her at her word, 3 years minimum. So we won't see her in the UFC until she's at least 30. I mean, it is what it is. I don't blame her at all. She's got to go where she feels comfortable, where she feels valued, and where I guess, where she believes that she can be the most successful financially. And it is what it is. We got to root her on. Where I think this fell apart really, and I don't even know if it's fair to say we blame the UFC, but obviously she was negotiating with the PFL. I am sure she was negotiating with the UFC as well. Probably PFL did not want to lose her. They paid a number that the UFC maybe thought was not reasonable. They already have the whole UFC machine. They figure we got Kayla Harrison, we got other stars in the mix. What's the point of paying a super high dollar value for Dakota if that's what she was asking for? I guess this is just a total assumption in what I think happened, but for whatever reason, it was not deemed cost effective, I guess. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm bummed. Like maybe it wouldn't have been the best all around business move. But the thing the thing that bothers me is it's the whole reputation of the UFC. Look, I love the UFC. I own TKO stock. I've talked about that. I believe in the brand. I believe in the business. And I guess it wasn't cost effective, but when I think about what is the UFC, if we encapsulate that in a catchphrase or something, right? It's the best fight the best. And it's a bummer when we see something like this where somebody who's clearly the best fighter in a particular weight class for females, et cetera, and they're not fighting in the UFC. Like it just feels like we're being a little robbed, I guess you could say. But it is what it is. I mean, we can't cry over spilled milk. She signed the deal, and we have to be happy for her. I'll definitely be watching every one of her fights in the PFL. I'm looking forward to it, and maybe the UFC will buy her out of her contract at some point. Maybe she signed a multi-fight deal, 5 fights, 6 fights, or several years, or however they structured it. But that's always, look, a contract is only as strong as the people who are willing to essentially enforce it. That's how strong it is, right? If the PFL and Dakota simultaneously together decide, hey, you know what, we're open to having this contract purchased essentially by the UFC or her bought out early so she can transition over. There's a possibility. I don't know how likely it is, but I suppose that could happen as well. So we don't have to be too devastated. But either way, that's the news. That's what's going down. I thought it was going to go another way, but it is what it is. Either way, massive congratulations to Dakota Ditcheva. What a great fight. And me as a Muay Thai practitioner, obviously not nearly to the same level of Dakota, but I love to see, I just think Muay Thai is amazing. I think it's such a great martial art. I'm not saying it's superior to anything else or whatever. Obviously, I don't train grappling. And I said this in a previous video about BJJ. Probably BJJ guy would probably wreck me, you know, if they got a hold of me, because I wouldn't really know how to properly defend myself. I barely trained any grappling or rolling, just a little bit. But I like to see Muay Thai, as a Muay Thai practitioner, come in, somebody with a traditional Muay Thai background, and just annihilate people, just absolutely smoke people. And she's gotten a submission, by the way, as well. So she's not all striker. She's got a well-rounded game. So that brings a smile to my face. But I digress. I've talked long enough. Dakota Ditcheva gets the job done. What a legend. What a champion. We will continue to root her on. She is the face, or will be the face of, maybe she already is, a female mixed martial arts. And we're just going to have to wait longer for a UFC debut. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you also disappointed that she's not coming to UFC? Or are you actually happy for her? Do you feel like this is a better decision, a better move for her, and this is actually going to work out in her favor in the long term, not just financially, but also just for whatever she's trying to achieve in the sport, to be the best of the best of the best? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.